Welcome to part 6 of the Pink and Blue Disco Case series of 45 RPM vinyl records. I promised you hot wax in the last episode, and here it is. At least the distributor is called Hot Wax. It's a Stagecoach production, so there's no affiliation there, but down at the bottom here you'll see actually exclusively distributed by Buddha Records. So I guess Buddha's the distributor. We got 3 different company names, so who's doing what? But maybe it's the Hot Wax series from Stagecoach Productions, distributed by Buddha. But what a cool bit of artwork there. And it's a band called The Honeycomb, which I'm not familiar with at all, and a song called We Belong Together. And I'm pretty sure this is the A side because it's 7011, 701A1. And the B side, which is also from 1969, so that's not cluing us in on anything. But it's also got a 1115A1, so it's a higher number, so I'm assuming that this is the B side. But Want Ads does kind of ring a bell, and if we were talking a novelty record here, then this would probably be the A side. So anybody's guess there again. I'm going off nothing here. I don't know the band, I don't know the songs, but I do know that's some pretty cool artwork. That's some pretty cool graphics. Probably going to look really great in 4K on my big screen TV. And by the way, for those of you that aren't aware, if you're watching these on phones, click down here in this lower corner in that square box and rotate your phone, and it'll blow it up for you. It'll look a lot nicer. You can also click on the gear button there if you're on a computer. Not sure if it works on phones or not. I haven't tried it, but if you're on a computer or even streaming on a TV, click on that gear and make sure you kick it up to 4K or 1080p, not 4K, but 1080p. I film all these in 4K and downgrade them to 1080p for uploading because it takes 1/10 of the time. I'd never get anything up on the channel if I did 4K uploads, and that would be kind of overkill anyways. Filming it in 4K, downgrading it to 1080p, it looks beautiful on my widescreen, my high def 4K widescreen TV. So anyways, that's what I decided to go with as a standard format, and it's been working just great. But it will sometimes downgrade you. I've had it do it to me on a computer a number of times. It will move that setting down to 480. Looks tremendously better if you hit that gear and kick it up to 1080p. Smokey Robinson and the Miracles with Tears of a Clown. I know the song. I'm having a hard time with the tune, but I'm assuming that this is one that you're familiar with. But it's a well-known song, 1967, going back a few years. And so this is clearly the B side because I know Tears of the Clown is going to be the A. And the song called Promise Me, again by Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. It's a miracle. And like I said, we're getting into some odd stuff here in this stack. Here we're getting into a little bit of disco coming up here soon even. But Red Eye, which is a band I'm familiar with, doing a song called Games. And yeah, it's another interesting label. It's got some different artwork there. A little hand and a star. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Pentagram Records. Interesting. But we knew that was the A side, or side 1 as it's marked, because this is clearly marked side 2. And it's, again, the band Red Eye doing a song called Collections of Yesterday and Now. But yeah, I like that just because it's something different. Like I said, I have never seen that logo before, and I don't think I've ran across a Pentagram Dimension Music before in the past either. So that's pretty cool. Anything different at this point with so many 45 vinyls in my collection? Anything different is something great to have. And here are the Bee Gees. I said disco, but this is actually more of a pop song. How Can You Mend a Broken Heart? It is from their disco period. But they started out folk music before getting famous for doing disco. And they're actually were quite successful producing music for other artists as well. So if you're a Bee Gees fan, you know that. If you're not a Bee Gees fan, that might be an interesting tidbit of info for you, that you know and have heard many, many songs that the Bee Gees had involvements in that you weren't necessarily aware of. But how can you mend a broken heart? I'm sure most of you out there know that one. The B-side being Country Woman, that one doesn't ring a bell so much for me. And it's kind of hard to imagine the Bee Gees doing country music. But just because it's titled Country Woman doesn't necessarily mean it's country music either. You know, it's like the old Black Sabbath song, Never Fall in Love with the Country Girl. That's a stretch from any country and western for sure. Hey, here we got a good old Neil Diamond. I do like Neil. And Holly Holy. That's a little, had to make sure I got that pronounced right. Not Holy Holly, but Holly Holy. Don't know the song. I do know Neil. I think I went through the numbers, and that's why I came up with guesstimating that being the A side, because Hurtin' You Don't Come Easy isn't a song I'm familiar with either from Neil. Brother Love's Traveling Salvation Show album. That's interesting. But we had 175 and 387 and 175, 386. So that's why I went with Holly Holy being the A side. It's also not designated as being from an album. So it is indeed quite possible that this was the B side, because oftentimes the A is where they are promoting the album, his latest release, you know. So, all right, moving on. Up next, we've got PK Limited on Coal Gems. That's Columbia Pictures Corporation, of course. But Shades of Grey from the Columbia picture Getting Straight, from the Getting Straight album. Okay, I don't remember a film called Getting Straight, Scared Straight, but not Getting Straight. So that's a bit of a puzzle for me, and being that I have over 14,000 DVDs in my collection, I'm obviously quite a film fan and quite familiar with movies, but this isn't one that has crossed my path in the past. And the B-side, again by PK Limited, is My Imagination. And it doesn't say that it's from that same film, so not really sure if it's from the same film and they just didn't bother to credit it on this side. My Imagination, can't see that without thinking of Rolling Stones, just my imagination running away with me. But that's definitely not that song. I get things, music is always in my head. It's always, I see phrases and words here and there that are always popping song references into my brain, because that's just the way it seems to want to work. Here we got the Grassroots, which is a band that I have heard of, and Temptation Eyes. I do think I know that song. Temptation Eyes. I'm not going to try and sing it, but someone will be correcting me. Oh, you got the wrong song. Maybe. I've done it before. But Grassroots, like I said, I do recognize that name. I am familiar of that being a band. But Keeping Me Down is also not a song that I'm familiar with. It comes from an album called More Golden Grass. Okay, so it's obviously not their first album, probably at least their second. That was what Temptation Eyes came off of as well. So, and here's one. Try to keep things positive. I was just discussing this in a comment on a previous video. I try really hard to keep this as a positive place for everyone, and sometimes expressing your opinions offends somebody, but Joe Cocker is not one of my favorite artists. He's in that group of, well, I could rattle off a string of them, but I don't want a whole bunch of thumbs downs. But Cry Me a River, yeah, I'll cry you a river over how much I'm not a Joe Cocker fan. But I know he's got his fans out there. The man has had quite a successful career, and he's well known for some songs that I really don't like at all. But Give Peace a Chance. That's interesting. Leon Russell and Bonnie Brummett. So I'd recognize the names, both Leon Russell and Bonnie Brummett. Delaney and Bonnie and Delaney, I think was where Bonnie Bramlett came from. But Give Peace a Chance. I wonder, is that the same? All we are saying is give peace a chance. Because I recognize John Lennon doing that. But old Joe, he's notorious for that. With a little help from my friend's remake he did of the Beatles song too. So it's quite possible that there's a all-around connection here. And I didn't know if John Lennon wrote Give Peace a Chance or not. If it's the same song, he didn't. If you know, please feel free to comment down below in the comment section, or possibly over on the side, because recently YouTube had the comments moved to the side and suggested videos down below, and then they flipped it back again. So I don't know which way they're going to stay with. I've said lots and lots, and lots of other people have said lots and lots about making comments down below as well. So it's going to mess up a lot of old videos, messing up the old standard if they do change it. But change is part of life, and we all got to deal with some levels of it from time to time. Here we got 5 Stairsteps and QB. What an odd name for a band. Produced by Curtis Mayfield. Now, I've heard of him. And written by Curtis. Baby, Make Me Feel So Good. There again, pretty cool logo there. I like that. Curtum. Kind of like custom, but C-U-R-T-O-M, curtain. You're a winner, baby. And we've got one of those cutout holes that we've recently discussed about, so I'm not going to keep repeating myself, especially not in the single film series. When I've got a series of videos, I don't really mind repeating some known information for new viewers and stuff, but I don't want to keep repeating it over and over in every episode. But yeah, there's a cutout hole there. Little Young Lover, again by the 5 Stairsteps and QB. Okay, so next up we'll have something completely different to start off episode 7, but we're hitting the 12-minute mark, so that ends it for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. We're almost done with the pink one, and we'll be moving on to the blue. So this is probably going to take about 15-16 episodes for us to wrap this series up, and then we'll get into something else cool. Have a wonderful day. Love y'all.